prestige or something like that. But my main thing is anything that helps you write more, do it, because the more you write, the better you're going to get. And as far as getting published, as far as short stories, what you want to do is be aware of anthologies that are coming up, be aware of openings that are coming up, and be aware of them in good time, so you have time to work and polish, so you don't turn in something that's full of like missing commas and grammar mistakes. Because the thing about it is, if you keep and my grandmother worked in publishing, and if you keep turning in bad stories, eventually, there's only a small amount of people handling like slush piles most of the time, and eventually they kind of like see your stuff and like, oh, that guy always turns in terrible manuscripts. I have to read this because I'm getting paid. So like, if you gotta put yourself out there, put your best self out there. Give yourself time to polish, because it's really important. And like I said, there's a lot of different places that are doing science fiction and fantasy, and if you want to get published outside furry circles, like he said, science fiction and fantasy are usually your best bets. There's places like Analog, Clark's World, and these places usually open a couple times a year, like 2 or 3 times a year for short stories. And sometimes they open for novels even, but that's slightly more rare. And you've got, and this is mostly for short story publishing, but as far as getting published outright, there's a couple of other places that will help you with that. There are a lot of small publishers where if you're just starting out it can be kind of nice, especially if you know your local scene. But again, you have to watch out for vanity publishing there, because there's a ton of sites that'll pretend to publish you, and they'll send you like a box of 100 books and you'll never hear from them again. So if you're going to do the small publishing route, read up on the person you're giving your baby to. Like, you don't give your baby to a babysitter you don't know, unless you've like read up on them on babysitters.com or whatever, so do your research.
Some of the bigger publishers have been doing funnel ones for those. Have you encountered those yet?
I have not.
So I had some students of mine get grifted by major publishers because they had a front that said like, do you want to get published by, I forget who it was like Viking Penguin or Random House or something.
Yeah.
And they said like, do you want to get published by us? Cool, give us $4,000. And then they signed a contract that said that if that book became popular, they had the rights to sell it, but they had no obligation to promote it or put it in bookstores or anything. So they just sent you paid 4,000 copies, they gave you 100 copies. And
yeah,
that was
exactly
the end of that. And
like that happens a lot.
But they were like, we're your agents now, and we're your publisher, and like
give us money to do nothing but send you a box.
And so they were hoping to get, but their hope was to funnel people in to get people to. Like, they would bring in thousands of authors to do this, and then hopefully one of them would be the next J.K. Rowling, was their hope. And so I would say watch out a little bit if something seems too good to be true, or like you have to give money up front
yes.
to printed.
And also,
that's a red flag.
Yeah, and the people who fall for those are usually very mad, so if you Google something and you do your research, you will find an article saying, like, I worked with these people and it was bad. So do your homework before you give away your baby. And again, there's also there's tons of small publishers, like, again, Cosmic Egg, Bane, and various things like that. Just Google small publishing, and there's a lot of local places that are great, like local bookstores sometimes will host local authors, things like that. But if you do that, I would do a small run or whatever. But you know, if you're kind of building up to doing a novel, you don't always have to go with like the big guys. Sometimes, like what happens a lot of times in publishing is a smaller print publisher will end up printing your book, and it will get into a few bookstores. And if it sells well, they may end up selling it to a bigger publisher. It's actually what happened with the Harry Potter novels. They were bought up by a smaller local publisher, and they sold so well that they ended up going all the way up the chain. And that's the best case scenario. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. But I'm saying, like he said, you don't always need an agent. You don't always need a big guy. We live in an age, you can do a lot of this yourself.
Yeah, it happens with self-publishing too. That's what they're looking for, the next Harry Potter with self-publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also how agents, when I've talked to agents, that's how they tend to find their staff, because like there are so many fewer agents per writer now, and they have so many fewer like artists they represent, that they've dropped from like hundreds of people they're representing to dozens, and so now they really have to fall in love with you. So often, by the time you need an agent, they will be seeking you out.
Yes, and the main thing about it is, a lot of people will start like, looking for an agent and looking for all that kind of stuff before they've written the book.
Yeah. Don't.
So like having a body of work automatically makes you way more attractive than the hundreds of people who are doing that.
Yeah, we when I've helped do submission stuff, like I've had people come up to the table at the publisher, and I've had people come up and say like, hey, can I get like an advance? And I would like to write a book. And
yeah, I would like to write a book.
And I'm like, have you written anything at all? And they're like, no, but like I really want to. And I'm like, then I don't think we can do anything like that for you.
And that's why it's so important to write every day, because even if you know, you have to go through, even if you have to burn through a dozen short stories or 100 short stories, like just having things written down that you have available for publishing if you polish them, or you know, you have the practice things. Having a body of work that can represent you is so important in this kind of thing, and that's a very good bit of advice in general. But anyway, one of the main things in that thing is networking, because again, like you said, usually an agent or something will have to already be in love with you to, you know, represent you. And one of the easiest ways in the universe to get published is just knowing the right person at the right time. Mm-hmm. Like, so you know, if you can, go to workshops, get on social media, go to writing conventions, join a local group, reach out to, I made a typo there, oh god, reach out to people who've made the journey you want to take, and all of that kind of things. So you know, my main thing is communication, so my main thing is connecting, you know, people through media. And like, the amount of people who've gotten really, really big just from meeting the right person at the right bar is insane. So you know, if you're able, and not everyone is able to, but with the internet you can still reach out even if you can't go to these places. If you can put yourself in places where the people who are doing the thing you want to do will be, doing that is extremely important and extremely helpful to you. Like just having someone like, oh, hey, I know who to email. Like someone who's like said, like I've had stories from people who've been like, oh, I went to, what's that big science fiction writing convention? I think it's in like Michigan. Anyway, there's a big writing convention in Michigan. It's a convention, not the.
Is it the SWA, like their big thing?
Yes, I think that is. My hotel was out of coffee, so I'm running a little bit low. But anyway.
Is it where they do the Hugos?
Yes, it's where they do the Hugos.
Yeah.
That's the
okay.
But I used to live in Jacksonville, Florida, and I was in a writers group there. And a friend of mine went to that convention, and he wrote a book called Sniper, and it's about Cupid being a hitman. and
That's kind of cool.
No idea too stupid. He went to that convention, and he had you know, these books written, you know, and he had them going through small publishing. And I'm not sure this is gonna go all the way through, but Sci-Fi was interested in turning it into one of their miniseries now. So like just meeting the right person at the right time and having things done already is super helpful to you. So you know, you can be at the right place in the right time. Put yourself there, for God's sakes.
Another way that I found that people tend to ignore is that they think that it has to automatically advance the thing they're already doing, where you could, if you are getting involved in a project that won't personally benefit you very much, like I wrote like a frequently asked questions for the parents of furries for Fur Science and stuff like that, and like I met a bunch of people through that, and then like we brought them on my channel and stuff like that. Like
exactly
things that putting yourself out there to help other people and not just appear selfish.
Yeah, like altruism is frankly the best marketing.
Yeah.
As terrible as that sounds. Like, I think Neil Gaiman has a saying of, there's three things. There's timeliness, being pleasant, and being good. Two of those will get you far. Three of those will get you almost anywhere. So you can be timely and pleasant, and you'd be shocked how far that gets you. You can be good and nice, and maybe they'll let you go on the time limit a little bit.
Right.
But like, just being a good person will help get you shockingly far with networking. So you know, just like, I would put this on a poster behind me. Be kind.
Yeah.
It's shockingly helpful. But anyway, if you are looking for an agent, and again, I wouldn't do this automatically, but I've seen so many people get scammed by agents. This place is a giant directory of them where they have like references and things like that. And beyond that, it's another place where you can find poets and writers magazines and workshops and other things. They have full directories of these things. And beyond just agents, which again, I don't think you need right now, you can find magazines that are open, slush files that are open, and all that kind of things. Yes?
Yeah, I was going to say, if your town has like the culture for it, you can check around shops that have zines and see if they do zine co-segments, and that's a good way to work if you have like just, you know, little short stories, like stuff you've accumulated over, and you can just like go to any place that does printing.
Yeah, I mean that's basically how like Sherlock Holmes and H.G. Wells and H.P. Lovecraft got published.
Yeah, you make a little bit of money. You know, it's no commitment. Just put your social media stuff on the back of it, and people will find you hopefully.
Yeah.
You can also it really helps to just get to know publishers, and I don't mean sucking up to them, but saying, hey, can I read your slush pile? Is an amazing way to just let them know you, because they don't want to just take anybody off the street. You can submit a story, but if they know you, they're more likely to look at your stuff or be interested in you to begin with.
Rejan's telling my life story, because that's part of how I got into publishing. Was I was the slush pile reader at Sophawolf,
very nice.
They eventually opened up for novel submissions, and they already knew that I was timely, nice, and right, and like so like I was and did good work, and so they were like, oh, okay, now that you're a known quantity to us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, unknown quantity is always better than an unknown. Even, like, the unknown could be platinum gold, but they don't know.
Right, yeah, but it's still a roll of the dice.
Yes. Anyway, as far as self-publishing goes, you'd be surprised at where that can get you. Like, The Martian by Anthony Weir was actually published on his website as a serial before it actually ended up getting picked up and getting published and getting turned into a movie. So, like, there's so many ways to end up on shelves, but the main thing is, if you're not writing, start writing!
Yeah.
Like, put yourself out, like, just sitting there like, oh, I wish I could get published, and the typewriter's sitting there collecting dust. What are you doing? Like, the second you leave this convention, get home, find out the gaps in your schedule, and start writing in those gaps. Like, stop saying, oh, hey, I wish to do this. Just get out and do the thing.
Stop playing video games.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play them to unwind, but
right.
I mean,
first. Red Dead Redemption's got some pretty good writing right here. I haven't played it. But anyway, and like, even The Night Circus started off as like, this is a lovely book by Erin Morgenstern. It's very lush prose. But that started out as a NaNoWriMo project.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she wrote this book in a month. Of course, she edited it in longer than that, but having it written is better than having it not.
Well, and that's the whole theory behind NaNoWriMo too, is that like people are sitting around with these brilliant ideas but not doing them, and so they need the kick in the butt to go and do them.
As a matter of fact, National Novel Writing Month is November, but hey, it's December 1st. You can start your own National Novel Writing Month right now, and have something, at least if not finished, most of the way done by Christmas.
It's December 2nd, actually.
Yes.
Get out.
Still.
Get out!
Oh, okay, I'll leave.
No, you can stay.
Just kidding.
But anyway.
Yes, but anyway.
Oh, you lost your phone.
And there's a lot of furries who are in self-publishing tend to do so on Amazon. The thing about Amazon is, when I was looking into this, they tend to take, I think, there's two different deals you can get, and it's generally 70-30 split, and depending on what you pick, you can either take the 70 and they get the 30, but they don't advertise for you, or you can take the 30 and they get the 70 and they'll kind of plug you a little bit.
But if you pick